Hello everyone, this is PK Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to talk quickly about Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania and its potential in terms of success and what it means going forward for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now there could be spoilers throughout for all phases of the MCU, including movies and Disney Plus shows, so just beware when going into this overall video. So as you mostly know, but just for anybody who doesn't, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is the third film of the Ant-Man series, which started with the first film in 2015 to a solid success at the end of Marvel's Phase 2, grossing over $519.3 million worldwide. The sequel, Ant-Man and the Wasp, found greater success with a take of $622.7 million worldwide, and I think overall Paul Rudd is generally well liked in this role as Scott Lang, alongside the Marvel fans. Now both movies were very much more of that bank heist, very much comic caper tone, far more brisk and light-hearted and less universe-defining than many of other Marvel's efforts. And with the first big trailer for the project recently dropping, when we look at Quantumania, it seems that Marvel are going for something far more out of the box and far more significant in terms of their universe. The movie itself is the beginning of Marvel's Phase 5, looking to be released on February the 17th, 2023. And it certainly seems that it will delve further into the multiverse, which has already been introduced with both Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man No Way Home. It seems they're definitely going in a different direction here, certainly in the opening scenes of the trailer where we see Scott Lang alongside his daughter Cassie Lang, who has grown up considerably since we saw her last in Avengers Endgame. We see Hank Pym alongside Janet Van Dyne, her daughter Hope Van Dyne, all standing around a device that sends a signal to the quantum realm, which was already established in the end credits of Ant-Man and the Wasp and also Avengers Endgame. Before trying to turn it off, they find themselves all transported into the quantum realm, and initially this was a big surprise when watching the trailer, where we see them standing and all of these other characters from previous universes. We see the likes of the Celestials all walking towards them, and when we see them standing here in the realm, it is quite a stunning visual shot. It looks very fresh and interesting and new, and certainly poses a different dynamic for the Ant-Man series. And let's look here, there's no getting away from the clear vibes of Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok. All the aesthetics and soundtrack are all there to see, and it's just so obvious to miss, given all of those vibes of the cosmic part of the universe. And when I was watching this section, after a while, I started to have mixed feelings overall in terms of this project, as it seemed less fresh and almost like it was almost cloning Guardians of the Galaxy. And when we see all of the heroes running and leaping and jumping in front of clear green screen backgrounds, it just seemed a bit too familiar. Even this shot here where we see a fleet of spaceships looked very similar to the planet Kree backgrounds that we saw in Captain Marvel. Now it doesn't look bad, just perhaps a bit uninspired than what I first initially thought when looking at the trailer. Now admittedly, it was great to see both Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer still showing lots of energy and enthusiasm. For me personally, they are of course two of the all-time great movie star legends from the 1980s. And it will be interesting to see how involved Cassie Lang here is within the story. Will she have a dominant role? Will this spark off more debates about the supposed MCU and whether she'll dominate and take over Scott Lang's presence? I've commented previously on that theory, and I think again we have to wait and see before making absolute statements or judgments. We then talk about Jonathan Majors' Kang, and I was never convinced about the choice of the villain for the next big phase within the MCU, or indeed his appearance in the Loki Season 1 finale. And I'm still not convinced here of his look, or convinced that Jonathan Majors can project the same level of threat or impact that we saw with Thanos from Infinity War and Endgame. And make no mistake, Marvel are clearly intent on this being the next big threat in terms of their universe, but at this time I just don't see it. I just don't really like the look of Kang here in terms of his costume design, and it just doesn't scream as a villain that's truly intimidating or imposing so far from what I've seen. And I think overall the biggest discussion here is how important will Quantumania be in terms of the overall universe? How much will it link to the Avengers Kang Dynasty project, where we know will be coming later on at the end of Marvel's Phase 5? And after a very mixed Phase 4, which I'm probably being polite there, will this movie convince even the most harshest critics of the MCU? Can it get them back on board? Will it generate a fresh level of excitement and reinvigorate the hype that we saw certainly throughout Marvel's Phase 1 to 3? And yes, I do think a certain reinvigoration is needed going ahead for Marvel's Phase 5 and Phase 6, and assumably Phase 7, where we should see the X-Men coming into the overall universe. So because of all of those reasons, I do think there is an extra amount of importance and significance regarding Quantumania than there ever was for both of the previous Ant-Man movies. Now, I'm not saying that this has to reach Avengers Endgame levels, but it certainly does need to present much more of the vision going forward for the Marvel Cinematic Universe and set some clear parameters as to where we're going regarding the multiverse, and perhaps again establish how the mechanics are going to work in terms of all of the variants of characters that we will certainly be seeing going forward in the future. There is the added dilemma that because we are building far more in terms of the quantum realm and introducing or certainly focusing on Kang, that it will be very different from the previous two Ant-Man movies, which are very much more stand-alone, and many people may feel that that's what made them so good, is that they weren't concerned with tying to the bigger picture of the universe. They were much more concentrated on much more escapist, smaller scale adventures, and that's what made them so enjoyable and entertaining. And that is a very valid argument. Will this be less of a final installment, we assume, to a trilogy of Ant-Man films, and much more of a universe builder for going ahead in terms of the future phases of the MCU? It is an interesting question regarding this project, but overall in terms of the trailer, like I said, it wasn't bad. There are certainly some interesting elements in terms of the world building here, and it is a different dynamic, but I just wonder how much of an Ant-Man movie this will feel like, and whether the dynamics that served the first two films so much will be overridden in terms of trying to build a larger world and a larger universe going forward. But we'll wait and see when the movie releases, not long to go now, 4 months away, on February the 17th, 2023. And of course, when the movie does arrive, I will provide both non-spoiler and spoiler reviews and talk in a greater context of what the movie means going forward for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings and discussion on Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, the recent trailer, and how significant and important will the movie be going forward for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this will be an important film, or aren't you really that hyped up much for the project, and are you far more looking forward to seeing the Fantastic Four and also the Avengers movies? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have any other topics or subjects regarding movies or television series or any other issues within the entertainment industry that you'd like to see me cover on the channel, then please also let me know, and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on those subjects within the future. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves. Stay at safe distances, and I will see you very, very soon.